got
a
never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I had a never-ending love for you. Yeah, sing it again. I've got a never-ending love for you. And you, and you, and you.
That's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you.
Now it's Jim's turn.
Well, after all this time of feeling alone, we can love one another, live for each other from now on. Feels so good, I can hardly stand it. Never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you.
We have a guest.
Oh, after all this time, feeling alone,
Elvis.
we can love one another, live for each other from now on. Oh, I'm telling you from now on, yeah. Feels so good, I can't hardly stand it. Never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you. I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you. It never ends. I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you.
Ain't we got fun?
What's up, everybody? It is the Love Month and Black History Month, and we're going to take this all just a little higher. We're going that higher ground. Y'all want to go with me? Come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah! Woo! Oh, my Lord. Oh, yeah, we're going that higher ground. Oh, yeah. Listen to me now. People keep on burning. Oh, and the soldiers, yeah, they keep on warring. All the world keeps on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. You know it won't now. Woo-hoo. Listen, the power keep on lying. Oh, while the people, yeah, they keep on dying. All the world keeps on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Not gonna be too long. Yeah. So darn ready, let me live it again. 'Cause the last time on earth I lived a whole world of sin. I'm so glad I know more than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach the highest ground. No turning round. Listen, I think I'll testify. Teachers, man, they keep on teaching. And you know those preachers, they keep on preaching. All the world, you know it keeps on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Not gonna be too long. I like this part right here. Lovers, they keep on loving. Hey, the believers keep on believing. But the sleepers, you know they're gonna keep on sleeping. Still it won't be too long. Not gonna be too long, no. Yeah, I'm so darn glad he let me try again. 'Cause the last time on earth that's been a whole world of sin. I'm so glad I know more than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach the highest ground. Oh, till I reach, I'm gonna reach the highest ground. No, no. How many gonna go with me? Till I reach the highest ground. We keep going just a little higher. Hey! Oh, till I reach, everybody help me reach for high ground, yeah. Don't let nobody bring you down. God knows they're trying every day. We're gonna reach that highest ground. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're gonna reach that higher ground. So good, so good. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries, It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion to. Imagine all the people living life in peace, and you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know that. I pray someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I know I'm not the only one. I pray someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Good morning, everybody. Imagine, that's the song. Just got through doing. Imagine a world differently. Reimagine your own world. You know, really that's what the word repentance means in the Christian Bible. Metanoia, to change the way you think. Reimagining. And so can we imagine a world where everyone's living at peace and living at one? If you can't imagine it, you'll never try to create it. There's an old quote that says, if you believe you can do something, you probably can. If you believe you can't, you most assuredly will not. In other words, you won't even try. So let's get ourselves into a place where we're practicing on a daily basis, living in a space of reimagining, a world where there's more peace, there's more unity, there's more harmony, there's more grace for each other. That's a wonderful space for us to live in and to think about. I want to say thank you for your patience. I was actually supposed to be with you several times this month, but I've just come through a real interesting challenge with COVID-19. I'm thankful to be on the other side of that now, feeling much better. It took me a minute. I sounded like the Godfather for a little while there and struggled through the pneumonia aspect of COVID-19. Anybody who says it's the flu has not had COVID. So it's a bit of a struggle for some and not everyone, just I guess the chemistry of different bodies. But I'm glad to be alive and well and healthy and to be able to be with you today. Our overarching theme for the whole year is beyond the veil, living beyond the veil, getting past the veil. For this month though, our theme is loving beyond the veil. What does it mean to really love? And not to just love your neighbor, but to love yourself. You know, Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. The code in that is that if you don't love yourself well, you can't love your neighbor well, because you're going to love those around you to the level that you're willing to love yourself. So I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about self-awareness, self-realization, self-actualization, self-loving versus self-loathing. There's these little things that we do that I don't even think we realize we do, that speak to a judgment of our own selves, that speaks to a little bit of condemnation of our own selves. Our self-talk, what are you saying to you when nobody else is around? How do you treat you? And if you don't treat you at a high level of respect, at a high level of honor, at a high level of value and worth, then how can you expect anyone else to? It has to start here. I've said for a long time that I believe love, true love, compassion is an inside job. It comes from the inside out. What is it that you're saying to and about your own self? Do you find yourself almost rejecting compliments? You ever met somebody before that you compliment them and you tell them, oh, your hair looks nice or you're looking wonderful today, and then they give you a list of reasons why you shouldn't have complimented them? Think about that. That's self-loathing. That's not seeing your own value. You'll never be able to see the divine expression, divinity expressing itself in others if you can't see it in your own self. It needs to be able to be seen. You need to look at the one in the mirror. Michael Jackson said, I'm working on the man in the mirror. But you know what I find interesting? When people say things like, I'm working on me because I need some alterations or I need to be fixed. What I find interesting about that is the one who needs the work is the one who is doing the work to the one who needs the work. Now think about that for just a moment. It's a little confusing maybe, but my point is that really comes with surrender. And when you surrender to love, when you surrender to compassionate, loving awareness, when you surrender to that, there's an automatic upgrade of your soul and yourself. Being self-aware, self-actualization, and self-realization. I believe that we should all be self-centered. Not selfish, not self-absorbed, but self-centered. Balanced within ourselves enough that we're able to love ourselves, and as a result, you won't be able to help but love your neighbor. It will increase the value of your own life, which will spill over into the world around you. Greater love has no one than this, than that one lays down their life for their friends. And perfect love casts out fear. If you want to get rid of fear in your life, the anxiety and the stress of living, work on the love aspect. And when I'm talking about love, I'm not talking about this ushy-gushy, oh, I just love you, oh, you just fulfill me, you just make me whole and complete. In fact, I'll tell you this, if somebody tells you that, you might want to run the other direction. That means they are so broken that they need you to fill that spot, and that means they're going to be sucking the life out of you for the rest of your life. You can't fulfill anyone. It's not your calling to fulfill anyone. It's your calling to really be fulfilled within your own self. And then when you get two whole individuals in the same space together, now you've got a partnership that will last. But that's what love does, and it's self-loving. When's the last time you fully embraced yourself? When's the last time you looked in the mirror and instead of critiquing, your automatic thought was, I sure love you? Think about it. I'm serious. We're almost ashamed of ourselves. You get out of the shower and you go looking for a towel to cover up as quick as you can. You're the only one in the room and you just cover it up as quick as you can. We're ashamed of ourselves. You know, the scripture says that they were naked in the garden and unashamed. What is it in the consciousness that makes us so ashamed of who we are? Ashamed of being bare, ashamed of being, I'm not saying you need to join a nudist colony. I think you understand what I mean, is not being afraid of being your authentic, essential, wonderful self. You're created in the likeness and the image of God. The only thing that's missing is the limited thinking. If we can expand our thinking and we can be limitless thinking, you can actually activate the God factor of who you are and start living as the image and the likeness of God, divine self, pure presence. Of all of the people in the world deserving of love, compassion, kindness, and goodness, you are the first one. It starts right here. Love is an inside job. Self-actualization and realization, inside job. And when you do that, when you activate that work, everyone else around you is going to experience the true, authentic you, and their whole lives will be changed just like yours. So when Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, again, the secret in that was to fully embrace and accept you. And then you're able to love your neighbor. What does love mean to you? What does it mean to you? Have you loved and lost? Have you had somebody tell you, I'm going to love you to the end, and I guess the end came because they're nowhere to be found? You ever had somebody disappoint you? You ever had someone to hurt your feelings after they just gotten through telling you how much they loved you and betrayed you in some way? So then that heart space has a tendency to close. We have a tendency to shut it down. Well, I can tell you this, the energy of life-giving power comes from that heart space. And that heart space needs to be wide open. Don't let the disappointments of your past, don't let the pains of your past shut you down. Don't let it keep you from living creatively and living fully and living authentically. You deserve to be loved. In fact, do this right now, right where you are. Just hug yourself right now. It brings healing. We're in healing right now at this very moment. At this very moment, we are experiencing the therapy of our souls. Embrace you. Accept all of you. Listen to this. Until, and I believe this is a very powerful truth that I think can be an epiphany moment for you. Until you accept all of you, there will be no true adjustments made to you. That full acceptance brings your whole being into that space of loving awareness and consciousness. When that happens, if there's any alterations that need to be done, it happens in the surrender of love. And God is capable, able, well able to keep that which you committed unto Him against that day, as the New Testament Christian scriptures says. So accept you, embrace you right now in this very moment. Allow yourself to be fully aware of the powerful, beautiful being that you are. Take your hand and put it on your chest real quick. And you may find this to be a bit of a challenge. And if you find it to be a challenge, then I've touched a nerve today that needed to be touched. Put your hand on your chest and just say, call your own name. I'm going to call my name. John, I absolutely love you. Do you know, a few years ago, I found that hard to do. I didn't like me. See, I grew up most of my life, all of my life, red-headed, freckle-faced, white-skinned. I didn't like the way I looked. We were poor and impoverished, and I knew that we didn't have what other kids had. I didn't like me. I didn't love me. In fact, I loathed me. And it took me years to get past that, to where now I can just put my hand right on my chest and say, John, I absolutely love you. See, I was raised with this mentality. You're a sinner, you're a worm, and you need saving. You no good, dirty, low down, sinning self. You need to get right with God. The disservice that religion has done to humanity has told you that you were naked. God says to Adam and Eve in the garden, why did you cover up? Who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked and that was a problem? God had walked with them in the cool of the day every single day. And then they eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, conscientia, with knowledge, the knowledge of good and evil. They eat the fruit of dichotomy, division. The root word for division is die. They ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and when they consumed that, all of a sudden they became aware of this war that had not been there before. And so they got ashamed. And so they sewed together some really nice designer fig leaves and covered up their reproductive organs and their private organs. And they were ashamed. Notice in the narrative of the Genesis account, God shows up at the very same place that God was with them every other day. It didn't change the way God saw them. It changed the way they saw themselves, and as a result, they were separate in their own minds. What religion has done is preached a separation from God because you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Made a religion out of it, made a theology out of it. It's bad theology, it's toxic theology, and it has created a whole generations and generations of people who believe they're separate from God. And if you believe you're separate from God, then that means you don't have access to this relationship in your own mind. Not in reality, but in your own mind. The reason I believe in preaching this message of unity with God, connection with God, irrevocably and eternally. There's nothing you can do to separate from God. Not a thing. The reason I believe in preaching that message so passionately is because I want to declare to this world that's been told the biggest lie ever, that you are not separate from God. And this is the reason people don't love themselves and the reason people don't love each other, because we believe we're separate from God and from each other. We got to bring that back together. We have to change that. So the invitation today, the invitation to you is to know within your own self that you are worthy, you are valuable, you are divine, and you are loved, lovable, amazing, created in the likeness and the image of God. Humanity's never been separate from God, and you're not separate from God, that divine source and force from which all of creation emerges. So the invitation is into a space of freedom and in a space of love, self-loving. Loving beyond the veil is going here first. Go inward. Unveil it. Take the labels and the conditioning off. Take all of that conditioning, take all of the roles you've been told you have to play, take all of that and peel it back. Get into that heart space and fall in love with you. When you do, everything in your life is going to begin to line up. And then you'll be able to love your neighbor the way you should. Loving your neighbor as yourself requires that inside work of loving your own self. Let's take a few moments and come into a space of gratitude and grateful meditation on this power of love. I believe during this next few moments, some of you are going to actually experience a breakthrough within your own beingness, a breakthrough within your own soul that's going to absolutely bring you into a space of healing. Your heart will heal. Your heart will mend. And as a result, your whole life will begin to mend. So bring yourself into that space for just a few moments. Allow yourself to breathe deeply. Breathe into that heart space. Breathe into that heart space. Allow that freedom, the love that is unconditional. Let me say it this way. If God's love is unconditional, then there's nothing that your condition can do to change that love. Because if your condition could change that love, it wouldn't be unconditional. Let's go there now for just a few moments. Allow ourselves to rest into this love space. Bring that energy into the heart space. Whatever has caused your heart to feel pain and trauma, let's heal that together right now. This will be our mantra. Put your hand right over your heart and say your name out loud. I'll say mine, you say yours. John, I absolutely love you and accept you. John, I absolutely love you and accept you. Allow that loving energy to flow into this heart space. The greatest gift you can give yourself is full acceptance of you. Complete acceptance of you. Perfect love dispels fear. I give to myself this unconditional love. And I speak healing to my heart. Restoration to my heart. John, I absolutely love you and accept you. Repeat that to your own self now. I absolutely love you and accept you. Even with all of your scars, every mistake, and every achievement, I accept you fully. And I absolutely love you. And now I take a moment as I bring this short time of meditation to conclusion. I take a moment to say thank you to my lungs that breathe for me without me asking. I say thank you to my lungs that breathe for me without me asking. I say thank you to my heart that beats for me without me directing it. And I say thank you to pure presence that makes all of that happen without me even having to lead it. Thank you, God. Thank you, pure presence. I surrender to love, and I allow the peace that passes all understanding to open up my heart to live fully awake and fully aware in this loving awareness. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Namaste. Namaskar. Amidafo. Peace and grace, compassion, generosity, goodness and love, mercy, justice. And so it is. And so it is. It's been a joy to be with you today. And what I do want to say real quick before I go is I want to say thank you once again for your prayers and your concerns as our whole household was dealing with COVID-19. And it really, I could feel those prayers and those vibes. And I want to say thank you for that. And those of you who are a part of this community, I encourage you to continue to give to this community, to keep this community thriving, and keep this community going. I'm sure there'll be more information and maybe already has been for this service. But I want to encourage you to give. Wherever you are fed and nurtured should be a place where you plant seeds financially and seeds of your own time and talent. Thank you again for letting me be your guest today. And I want to say I love you, and go and make it a great week because you can. Peace.